My name is Mr. Gurney, and welcome to my classroom. I'm happy you're joining us today. I teach various STEM science classes here at Lincoln, and I'm glad you're able to join us for this video. I'm going to start off by talking about my homepage. On my homepage, you or your student can find information about announcements, agendas, contact information for myself and the classes that I teach. Keep in mind, you can't find assignment information here. That'll be found on Google Classroom. But this is a great place to start if you want to learn a little bit more information about your child's classes or more information about myself. There's even information about some clubs on here if your child wants to do anything extra. I teach 3 classes at Lincoln: Science 7, PLTW 7, and Advisement. Science 7 and PLTW 7 on your child's schedule will say STEM Science 7 and STEM Science 7N. If you recall, or if your child was a 6th grader with us last year, we taught science as a 2-period class, but it was 1 class. This year, it's still 2 periods. 1 period, however, will be just science, and the other period will be just PLTW, which is engineering. Science, your child will, if they have me for science, will have me periods 1, 4, or 6. And we focus on the core integrated science concepts in that class based on the next generation science standards. And we're going to be using the Amplify Science curriculum. PLTW, periods 2, 5, and 7, will be focusing on applied engineering concepts. And we're going to be using the PLTW curriculum for that. Your child may also have me for advisory or advisement, or just for advisement. That's period 8. And we focus on community building, social emotional learning, and organizational skills. We'll also include some digital citizenship in there. And we're going to be using the Choose Love curriculum and our Common Sense curriculum for digital citizenship. I want to go into more details about each class that I teach, including the curriculum, some grading, and some common questions you might have. So for Science 7, periods 1, 4, or 6, our curriculum, like I said, is Amplify Science. We have 7 units this year we're going to cover: geology on Mars, all the way through matter and energy and ecosystems. This is an integrated science curriculum, so it doesn't just focus on one branch of science, it includes multiple branches of science. Amplify Science, which is what Lincoln will be using for all middle school science, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, blends hands-on investigation, literacy-rich activities, and interactive digital tools to empower students to think, read, and write, as well as argue like real scientists. This is a great curriculum, and we have it in periods 1, 4, and 6. Grading for this class is weighted 70% for assessments and 30% for assignments. Assessments would include things like tests, quizzes, and some projects that we'll do. Assignments will include things like warm-ups, daily work, which it could include Google Docs, Nearpod slides, etc. Everything will be listed as either an assignment or assessment, so your child and yourself will know how that's weighted. Some needed materials for this class will include an Amplify workbook, which your child should have obtained from the library. There'll be one for every unit in Amplify this year. College ruled notebook, pencil, 2 highlighters, and ruler. Just the basic materials. If you need help obtaining those, please let me know. Your child will be turning all their work into our Google Classroom. We'll have a Google Classroom page for just science, Science 7 Google Classroom. They'll be able to check Aries, though, for their grades. I do take late work. I would be happy to take it. The goal is about learning, and if a child doesn't do their work, they won't be able to learn. So I do take late work. However, I do grade it in the order it was turned in. And Aries, unfortunately, doesn't update automatically. So if a child turns in their assignment to Google Classroom, it will be graded, and the grade will show up in Aries. It's just not immediate. PLTW, periods 2, 5, and 7, we're going to be focusing on the Project Lead the Way curriculum. This is a wonderful curriculum that we used to include as embedded in our science classes. This year, we made it its own class. So if your child has me for period 1 science, they'll have me for period 2 PLTW, period 4 science, period 5 PLTW, period 6 science, period 7 PLTW. 2 separate classes, 2 separate grades, but your child will have me for both. In this class, we're going to focus on two main Project Lead the Way units, energy and the environment and green architecture. I'll go over those details soon. Grading for this class, really similar to our grading in our science class. Assessments are 70% of the grade, assignments 30% of the grade. Assessments will be things like quizzes and projects, and we will do a lot of projects in this class. Assignments will be things like warm-ups, some daily work, Google Docs slides, things like that. Just like in science, everything will be labeled as an assessment or an assignment, so you know how much that project or assignment's weighted. Needed materials in this class: college ruled notebook, graph paper, if you can. It'll help when we do some sketching. Pencil, 2 highlighters, ruler. When it comes to the college ruled notebook, that was one of the needed materials for science. If you want to use the same one, that's completely fine. All I ask is that they're separated. There's a section for science, a section for PLTW. Sometimes it's easier to have 2 separate notebooks, but whatever works best as long as they are separated. Turning in work, really simple, same as we do in science. However, we have a separate PLTW Google Classroom. Since it's a separate grade, separate class, separate Google Classroom. All assignments will be turned into the Google Classroom, and then the grades will be sent over to Aries. So if you're curious about your grade or your child's grade, please check Aries for that grade. And again, if they turn any late work in, it won't be reflected immediately in Aries. Just keep that in mind. Just like I said, late work is accepted, but Aries does not update automatically. So great stuff about PLTW. Why we have it as its own class. PLTW is a hands-on engineering curriculum. The first big unit we're going to cover this year is energy and the environment. In this unit, we focus on alternative and renewable energy sources, climate change, engineering for our future. You can see some examples of past projects. We build wind turbines. Students can make models of various energy sources. It's a fun hands-on class where students can learn real-world skills that will be applicable to the future. Our other unit, green architecture, same type of concept, applicable skills for the future. We focus on architectural principles, building with green and sustainable materials, and we use professional architectural software, which we have on our computers in our physical classroom. You can see some past projects that are shown here. We build a scale model of the shed using real blueprints and following building code. We make models for various green homes depending on locations around the globe. And we also you can see some examples of the architectural software that we use. It's a fun hands-on class that can develop applicable career-ready skills, which will help all our students in the future. If your student has me for advisement as well, or only for advisement or advisory, ungraded class where community is built, social emotional skills are supported. This class will focus on organizational skills, social emotional well-being, and will place just to help students outside of academic content. Really community building in this class. But if you only have me for advisement or your child only has me for advisement, I'll be happy to help with whatever other class is needed. So just feel free to send me an email. We're going to focus on the Choose Love curriculum, which has to do with courage, gratitude, and forgiveness, and also some digital citizenship. The best way to be successful in my classes: review the weekly agenda. I post a weekly agenda the Sunday before the upcoming week. It'll be on my homepage and on the Google Classroom stream or whatever agenda that class is for. So you can see on my homepage, you'll see a section for weekly agendas. On the Google Classroom stream, you'll see a section on the stream that says weekly agenda. An example of a weekly agenda looks like this. We have our daily assignments, and you'll see what we're doing every day. This will help students be prepared for the upcoming week, and it'll also help them if they were maybe absent a day to see what we did in class. And I update this if anything changes, so I encourage students to bookmark the weekly agenda every week, and there's one for every class: science, PLTW, and advisement. It's important to log into Zoom on time for every class, come to office hours for help, and turn in all assignments on time. Checking grades daily is really important to being successful. A few things to wrap up. We'll be having virtual coffee with Mr. Besant. This is a way, if you a place if you want to ask questions of Mr. Besant or get some more information about what's happening at Lincoln. It'll be the last Friday of the month at 10 a.m. Information will be sent out on Zoom via email the day before. I also run a theater club here at Lincoln. So if you're interested in joining or your child's interested in joining, please fill out an interest survey on my homepage or just email me. We're going to be starting that soon. Also, there's a wonderful book club run by Ms. Galicki, which I partake in every once in a while. But I wanted to point that out because it's a wonderful virtual way for students to stay engaged. Thank you. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. My email address is right there. Have a wonderful day.